This is the End Zone. Thanks for stopping by. Make sure to subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. We talk everything football. We've got a special video for you coming today. Everybody talks about quarterbacks. They're the most important player on the field. And lots of scouts spend countless hours trying to figure out which quarterbacks fit their system and which ones will make their teams most successful. So that's why I decided to do some research, interview quarterback coaches like Jordan Palmer and Tom George to figure out a top 10 list of things to look for in a quarterback as a fan, as a scout, and as a coach. And if you're a player, maybe you should reflect upon this list and try to fix up your own game. Now, remember, not every single scout is going to look at a quarterback the same way. Some want bigger ones, some want smaller ones, some want more mobile quarterbacks, and some like pocket passers. So with that in mind, let's go to number 10. Number 10 is size, and it's last on this list because the quarterback position overall is just changing as a whole. You know, back in the day, we just saw these, if you were big, if you're a pocket passing quarterback, you have a shot in the NFL. Well, now we're seeing smaller players like Kyler Murray. You know, not every quarterback has to be this tall, towering Brutus who can throw it over everyone. Lines are moving, and we really don't need quarterbacks to look over the big offensive linemen as much as we used to. Number 9, arm strength. You hear it all the time. Oh, this guy has a cannon. I love this kid because he has a big arm. Listen, having a strong arm is important, but sometimes it can be overvalued, and sometimes it can be a lie. Jordan Palmer from the Quarterback Summit said that if someone just chucks it deep or throws bubble screens all day, they have a long way to go. It's great that a quarterback can throw it 70 yards. Yeah, whoop-de-doo. But that doesn't really mean much for accuracy, especially if it's absent. We see that in players like Deshaun Kaiser. Really great, big arm, but sloppy mechanics and relies on his strong arm too much. Another example is Tyree Jackson out of Buffalo. Big, 6'7", and a body with a rocket arm, but struggles with that consistent accuracy and got away with throwing against college secondaries. That just doesn't work in a league like the NFL. Number 8, mechanics. The good thing about mechanics is that they are teachable, and that's why they're number 8, because you can work on mechanics every day and get really good with your mechanics. Now, it all starts with proper footwork, grip, throwing motion, follow through, quick release, and more. Guys like Drew Brees has probably some of the best mechanics in today's NFL with perfect weight distribution and over-the-top throwing motion, and finally an incredible follow-through. A bad example is Tim Tebow, a guy who catapults the ball, puts his whole body into it, just looks awkward when he throws. Now, Phillip Rivers is a guy who has the most awkward throwing motion I've ever seen on the planet. Whatever you want to call it, whatever shape it reminds you of, but he is successful. So sometimes you can get away with different or unique mechanics. Mobile quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, PJ Walker from the XFL are great examples of good sidearm throwers who are on the run throwing, and they can get this sidearm to get a unique angle. Kyler Murray also is able to do that. Number 7, and we have number 7 and 6 split up into 2 parts. Mobility, part 1. This is the mobility where athletes playing the position can separate themselves from the rest. The top examples would be Mike Vick and Lamar Jackson. Both are a threat on the ground and make defenses pay if they don't respect the runs. Speed and elusiveness aren't the only factors, though. Being a power runner like Cam Newton, who Joey Bosa said on one of our podcasts earlier in the year, is by far the hardest player he has ever had to tackle in his life. And I think most defensive players in the National Football League would agree with that statement. He is like hitting a freight train. If you don't get him low when you're in open space, he's going to beat you 9 times out of 10. Number 6 is a perfect segue into mobility part 2. The mobility in the pocket, otherwise known as pocket presence. I interviewed Tom George of Quarterback Impact, and he emphasized the importance of moving within or outside the pocket while keeping your eyes downfield. Tom Brady and Peyton Manning are really good at this, while inside the pocket, having a strong pocket presence, taking sacks when needed to, buying time and throwing the ball down the field. The ability to move the pocket is something we're really starting to see in the NFL. guys like Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, but Patrick Mahomes, I feel, does it the best. He's able to escape the pocket and throw incredible passes on the run. Also, Russell Wilson does this, just being able to escape while keeping your eyes down the field. Number 5, this is something that ties in with arm strength, but it deserves its very own category, and that's velocity. The ability to sling the ball into the tightest windows possible is vital, especially in the National Football League or XFL, where coverages are going to be a little bit better than college or high school. Velocity is important for intermediate and short passes too. In today's NFL, Drew Brees has one of the highest velocities with a speed of 54 miles per hour, but a guy who I think can thread the needle the best is Aaron Rodgers. He puts the ball into the tightest windows possible, and with these guys who can thread the needle, lots of times you question their decision making, but because they have the ability to do that, they can make throws that other quarterbacks simply can't. Number 4, IQ and the film room. Even NFL quarterbacks have to do their homework. It's vital when you enter games to have an understanding of the defense. Peyton Manning was nothing short of a field general, mastering audibles and knowing what the defense would do before the snap. Tom Brady also was incredible at this. A guy who didn't do this well, Johnny Manziel, people said that he slacked off in the film room, didn't really study that much. There's nothing underrated about putting extra hours in the film room, kids. Number 3. This is one of my favorites, leadership and poise. The ability to lead by example and take command of your team is a God-given talent. Trust me, as a coach who has had teams where the best player doesn't lead by example, goofs off, and doesn't take things seriously, winning becomes that much harder. Leadership becomes even more important in crunch time. For me, Russell Wilson is the epitome of poise. He has the innate ability to win games in the final seconds and lead his team to victory with 28 game-winning drives in his career. He is the king of clutch. Number 2, decision-making and timing. You can't turn the ball over as a quarterback. The ability to read defenses and know when and where to put the ball all adds up to great decision-making. Good decision-making can make up sometimes for lack of athletic ability or other intangibles. Jameis Winston made a couple of bad decisions in 2019, and by a couple, I mean 30. Timing also plays a huge role into this, throwing to the wide receivers before they break open for routes. You hear this all the time when watching football at any level. Don't be like Rutgers quarterback Artur Sitkowski. And finally, number 1, accuracy. Most scouts will agree that the ability to deliver the ball consistently to your teammates is the most important part of being a quarterback, because that is a quarterback's job. They need to get the ball to the right place on a consistent basis. Some of the most accurate quarterbacks of all time include Drew Brees, Chad Pennington, and Aaron Rodgers, all of which are household quarterback names. I think Mitch Trubisky is a solid example of an inaccurate quarterback who cannot consistently get the ball in the right place in the NFL currently. Now let me know if I missed any quarterbacks or missed any points that you think deserve to be on this list. Who is your favorite quarterback of all time in any league? USFL, XFL, NFL, CFL, college football, even high school? Please comment down below. Thanks for watching the End Zone. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment so we can move the chain.